Welcome back. We have Jill Canales here, who's with Breastlink Angels and is also a breast cancer survivor. So she's going to tell us a little bit about Breastlink Angels, how you can get in touch with them, and all of that. So welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And what a successful program, and it sounds awesome. So tell us a little bit about it.
So the Breastlink Angels actually have been in existence for 30 years. We're celebrating our 30-year anniversary in August. And essentially, it really is a program that was designed to help women who are diagnosed with breast cancer, offer them what we call a peer navigator, who's a volunteer, who personally has had breast cancer and has been through that journey themselves and wants to give back and help other women who have been diagnosed and kind of help them at the time of their diagnosis, through their treatment process, and into survivorship. So that's essentially what we do.
Okay, so now what kind of obviously everybody has different stages that they go through.
Yes.
They have different experiences. So what type of criteria would you be looking for someone who wants to participate?
So as you probably know, breast cancer is not one disease. It is many diseases. And as we move forward with research and as we learn more about breast cancer, we understand that even more so, that as time goes on, we understand that breast cancer is made up really of a lot of different diseases. And so what is wonderful about our program is that we have women who literally will span every diagnosis type, every treatment type. So some have had a very low-grade cancer and possibly they only needed surgery, to some needed hormonal therapy, some needed more extensive surgery, some go through chemotherapy, radiation. So we really have, you know, I will say that we have women who are part of our program who volunteer with us from their 30s to their 80s.
Wow.
We have women who have been diagnosed from stage 0 to stage 4. Who have been through every type of procedure, surgical procedure, chemotherapy regimen, et cetera, et cetera. And what we try to do is find what is going to be most helpful to the newly diagnosed patients. So depending on where they are in their life, do they have young children? Are they newly married? Are they, you know, maybe not even married yet? Are they, you know, older and going through maybe the loss of a spouse? You know, where are they in their life? What does their diagnosis look like? And what volunteer, what peer navigator is going to help them where they're at and with the needs that they have at that particular moment. So what we try to do is we offer to sit in with the patient when they're meeting with their surgeon the first time, so they're aware that they have breast cancer but they don't have a lot of information yet. And as many of you know, it can be very overwhelming and you're thrown a lot of new terminology that you're not familiar with, and so we're there really to be an extra set of eyes and ears for that patient. And we take notes for them. We we try to kind of put it all in layman's terms for them so that they understand exactly what it is that they've just been told. And then we offer them what we call a phone volunteer. So we will match them, if they desire, with someone that will contact them by phone, and that can be as much or as little contact as they want. Some patients want a lot of information, a lot of contact, and we'll have the volunteers come in and meet them and maybe sit with them during their first chemotherapy appointment or things like that. So we really try to look at a patient, see what her needs are, and match them with a volunteer who kind of can help them through that process.
I would imagine many times, immediately when you're diagnosed, you probably run to the internet and try and figure out a bunch of stuff, right? So that can be super scary. So at that moment then, do you have someone who might be a peer advisor or someone who can help answer many of those frightful questions.
Yes. So one of the first things we tell them is to stay off the internet.
Yeah.
That's almost number one,
right.
because there is an abundance of information, but we try to tell patients, you know, number one, most of what you're going to read probably does not apply to you, because you may be looking at something that's really outdated. It's a different subtype of breast cancer than you have. It may not be accurate. You know, unfortunately, there's no way to, you know, remove from the internet what is not accurate, what is not based on research. And so what I try to tell patients is stay off the internet. Most of what you read is not going to apply to you, and if anything, it's just going to scare you. So the best thing to do is to, you know, there are a couple of sites that our physicians feel are good, you know, reliable sites to go to if you really want to go to a site. But we just try to funnel, you know, kind of funnel their questions, anything medically related, anything treatment related. We always tell them to go back to their clinician to answer questions. We're just really there as a, I've been through this, I understand exactly what you're going through, and I will do whatever I can to help you through this process.
Right. Well, it sounds like an amazing support group. Now we have a picture that I want you to tell me a little bit about. Obviously, these are some of the Breastlink Angels.
Correct.
Tell me about the picture and some of the people that are in it.
So we have approximately 50 volunteers, and every year we actually do a calendar, and 12 women are in the calendar. We sell the calendar and we donate the money to breast cancer research. So this particular shot was the cover of our 2018 calendar. And as you can see, we kind of had a black, white, and pink, you know, Kate Spade inspired photo shoot. That was our cover. And then each woman was in a particular month, and they told their story about how old they were, what their diagnosis was, kind of the, you know, the struggles that they went through, and ultimately how breast cancer, although it is not anything that any woman ever desires, kind of how they took that experience and made you know, made a difference and made their life better because of it. And so that's the front of our calendar.
Well, even yourself, you are the volunteer coordinator for Breastlink Angels. And you yourself are a survivor. So tell me briefly about your story.
Okay. So I was diagnosed at the age of 42. I had no family history. I had no risk factors other than being a female. That was it. And I was completely shocked by the diagnosis. It was not something at all that I was really even, you know, thinking about or worrying about. My OBGYN found a lump, and, you know, kind of went from there. I was quickly, you know, went through my mammogram and had a biopsy, and unfortunately I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. It was a triple negative tumor, which is tends to be one of the most aggressive types of breast cancer. I started with chemotherapy, so I had about 5 months of chemotherapy. I had surgery, I had radiation, and down the line I had more surgery. But what really, I think, was the kind of turning factor for me. I went into my first chemotherapy infusion, and I looked around the room, and I was younger by about 30 years than anybody in the room, and I just thought, what am I doing here? I don't know, how did this happen? You know, why is this happening? And it was a very difficult day, not only physically, but emotionally.
Sure.
And the next day, you would go back and have just a hydration. So they would, you know, hydrate you. And a woman walked into the infusion room. She was young. She looked happy and energetic. She looked beautiful. I had no idea she was a cancer patient.
Wow.
She ended up being my exact same age. I was on my first chemotherapy appointment. She was on her last. And in that moment, I realized I can do this. There's somebody next to me who is going through exactly, what I'm going through. She's just ahead of me. And that one person changed my entire perspective.
Wow.
So I realized the impact of one person and how that can really change the way that you view things. And so after I went through my treatment, it was about a year of being in active treatment. I took another year, which is what we do. We ask that somebody who wants to be a volunteer give themselves a full year after they're out of treatment.
I was going to ask you that because you said that this person came up to you, had already been in their last treatment, but so she really wasn't part of the Breastlink situation organization, but she
was a patient.
Took it upon herself to
Correct.
come to you.
Absolutely.
So that's great.
And she ended up being a volunteer as well.
Okay.
But she had no idea what she was doing for me.
Right.
It was just really her presence and her attitude, and it made such a difference to me. I thought, if I can affect one woman like that, then I will have served a purpose.
Exactly.
And so a year after I had finished all my treatment, I started volunteering as a Breastlink Angel, and then I did that for about 3 years, and then I became the leader of the program.
Okay, so you've been the coordinator or the organizer for how long?
For about 3.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so 3.5 years.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was diagnosed in 2009, so it's been almost 9 years since my diagnosis.
Wow. Okay.
I had 3 children at the time. It was very overwhelming, and for me personally, and I find that a lot of women feel this way. Life tends to be divided into a before and an after. Before you were married and after you were married, before you had children, after you had children. And breast cancer, for many women, is that. There's a before breast cancer and an after breast cancer.
Right.
And how you choose to live your after breast cancer life in many times is actually, there's an improvement. And I know that sounds so strange because none of us wants to deal with a diagnosis of cancer.
Right.
And it's very difficult to imagine when you're in that spot that you actually come out of it the other end, and your life improves because your perspective improves,
right.
and your outlook on life improves. And so that's essentially what it was for me, and I think for so many of the women that I work with.
Right. Well, it sounds like a great organization.
It
Now,
is.
if somebody would like to get in touch, well, it is a local organization.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but if anyone has any questions or wanted to refer somebody outside our area, what would be the best way to get in touch?
They can contact me directly.
Okay.
The phone number is 714-541-0101. My extension is 14330.
Perfect.
So they can call me, they can email me.
Okay.
We do have a Facebook page,
Great.
so it's Breastlink Angels. They can contact me through Facebook.
Okay.
Follow our page. There's a lot of great information as far as breast cancer research. We have pictures of our volunteers, kind of
Right.
their stories, that kind
Right.
of thing.
And then even if someone wanted to donate to Breastlink Angels, they can do that as well, right?
Well, we are not a nonprofit
Oh, okay.
currently, so we don't really take. Anybody can donate. We get a lot of donations of comfort items for
Okay.
chemotherapy patients.
right.
So we'll have women who make little pillows or donate blankets,
Okay.
donate things like that.
Right.
We don't take cash at this point, but we do have a lot of organizations, a lot of Girl Scout troops and church groups and things like that,
Okay.
who just want to give to their community.
Well,
And
I
so-
know that we have tons of crafters in our community.
That's
so
phenomenal.
Maybe you'll get some
Yes.
quilts or some
That
who
would be
knows,
phenomenal.
pillows, all sorts of great things. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much for being
Thank
here.
you. I
appre-
appreciate it.
Okay, and I
It was so
appreciate
nice
coming
to
in.
meet you.
You too. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. And if you want to know any more about Breastlink Angels and how you can participate or have questions, you can always go to their Facebook page, and that's Breastlink Angels. We'll be right back after this.